Man, welcome all y'all, welcome. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Pnoid News. Y'all know the situation. We out here getting it done today. Somebody else done made a video about me and called me stupid again. So here I am again, you know what I mean, to bring the facts and evidence and all the stuff that comes with it. Yo, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers just don't learn. You know what I mean? Real shit. People just don't learn that, like, legitimately, every time you challenge me, I'ma fucking show you what that right hook feels like. I don't get it. You know what I mean? That's why I like people like Dick Ass Auto Parts is out here sponsoring the channel now. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's right. Dick Ass Auto Parts for when you absolutely have to stop directly in the hole where you were going. All right. You know what I mean? For when you're coming in the hole, Dick Ass Auto Parts, buddy. You know what I'm saying? They will get you to your goal. Anyway, yo. Make sure you're checking us out over on motherfucking Audacity and shit. Not Audacity. What the fuck's that shit called? Who gives Anchor? Make sure you're checking us out over on Anchor right now. You know what I'm saying? Where we over here, I put extra shit up just for the team. You know what I'm saying? It's important that y'all get over here, support individuals who are trying to get the fuck off of this platform. Now, niggas is over here and they want a piece of that right hook right now, apparently. When are these motherfuckers gonna learn? You know what I'm saying? Legit, you should not challenge the god Tom Pease, you know what I'm saying, to any type of motherfucking mental fucking shit on goddamn YouTube. I don't fucking get it. Like, motherfuckers just don't understand that legit I will smash a motherfucker because I straight don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But here's how this works. This dude called me stupid. He called me ignorant. He called me motherfucking all types of names. All right. This is Mad Max of Michigan. All right. Fucking also known as Dean Esme on Red Pill Religion. A nigga rage quit and then threw me out of his motherfucking server on some shit. Told me to grow up and be a fucking man. Yo, it's hard once you start understanding facts and knowledge and actually swallowing that red pill whole and understanding what's really going on. It kind of destroys conspiracy theories inside of your head because it all really gets explained away the moment you just go, women vote. But apparently I have to get deeper into this shit with you and, you know what I mean, just refute all the nonsense and show you why these niggas talking points are fucking dumb and why they're literally out here just spitting garbage at you. It's not that you're spitting conspiracy theories, Max. It's that you're fucking making nonsense up that isn't there. That's the fucking problem. The problem is that you're missing all the nuance in your fucking arguments. That's the issue. So, without further ado, let's get into this motherfucking shit.
We are live. Welcome to my not so active YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I am joined with Mad Max of Michigan, one of the hosts of the Welcome to Nightburn podcast on the Gator and Frog Network on Tuesdays, along with Dave Nemo and TC Rogue, and on Saturdays on Alternative Public Radio International.
Yeah, baby. Find us on Facebook.
There you go. And the subject we're going to be delving into tonight is pretty straightforward, I think. It's going to be conspiracy theories and the cowards who dismiss them. Now, Max, that was your idea. Now, are you trying to say that there are people out there who dismiss conspiracy theories out of hand without even looking into the evidence first?
Yes, I am, and I think that it's time we all talk about this. In fact, I recently just walked out on some people. I've recently decided I'm just walking away from people who are too thick-headed about the subject of conspiracy theories. Because at this point, I think it takes willful obstinacy and willful ignorance to even use the word conspiracy theory.
All right, so let's get this straight real quick. All right, this is the same dude who told me that a mud flood, all right, legit, a mud flood washed over the lands like thousands or millions of years ago, some nonsense, right? And buried the Titans, and the Titans are the mountains all around us. And he pointed me to a YouTube channel that legitimately goes and picks quartz up out of fucking like rivers and streams and claims that these are old Titan organs, right? And that's why they're like pink and red and purple on the inside, because that's ancient Titan blood that's been, calcified or fucking rectified or fucking whatever nonsensified bullshit that they try to sell me. This is the problem, Max. All right, is that you don't spit conspiracy theories, you spit fucking lunacy. All right, you're a fucking lunatic. All right, and your nonsense gets mixed in with your other nonsense. Okay, and the problem is that you're so far deep into this fucking rabbit hole, you can't see daylight anymore. Not only can you not see daylight, bats are dripping guano and COVID virus on top of your motherfucking cranium. And the top of your head has got the corona so bad it's seeping in to your motherfucking skull and leaking into your fucking cranial cavity and like just indoctrinating your brain with drunken nonsense. All right, you have to understand, Max, that like, look, a lot of what you spit is half-ass nonsense garbage. All right, and I'm going to show you that today because it's important for you to understand. All right, and because of the fact that you want to talk reckless about me, and I love you too, my brother, I do, but you're fucking wrong. All right, and I'm going to show you why you're wrong. And you can go, or you can remain blue-pilled. All right, and don't take the evidence that's offered to you. It's up to you, because I'm going to show you that you've been taught by socialist nonsense. Legit. And if you don't listen, if you don't take this, you stand here and you're going to risk literally being shown to be a cuck in the end of that. All right? So let's keep banging.
We have all seen enough if we've been paying enough attention. I'll be talking about a certain specific young man I recently rage quit on, but a young Mr. Tom Pnoid. But I'm going to talk about the subject in
That'll be me.
General first. Fact of the matter is, whenever you call someone a conspiracy theorist, that is simply a way of dismissing them. Period. It is a way of shutting them down, calling them stupid, and refusing to engage in with anything they say. Sometimes the most arrogant among them will say, I refuse to be drawn in. Oh, in other words, you choose to be ignorant. I mean, we all know there's people worth listening to and worth not, but that should be based on the content of their character and, what you see of their behavior and of the logic and evidence they bring to things. Not, just some sort of presumption. We've all been programmed by Hollywood to see the conspiracy theorist as the nut in the tinfoil hat, the obsessed loner alone in his basement, drawing lines together on a chart. Although really, even acting like any of that's that weird, I don't know. Cops and generals and forensic investigators and sports coaches and everybody else sits often alone or with only a few other people intensely studying and making charts and drawing and connecting dots.
Okay, so the reason why you get dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, again I say, is because you spit nonsense, all right? And conspiracy theory is the popular vernacular for such. And you can be upset that the CIA invented that word in order to stand here and dismiss individuals who were talking about the Vietnam War or the JFK assassination or the Gulf of Tonkin incident or, fucking any number of other things, Pearl Harbor, whatever the case might be. They used it as a way to dismiss individuals because, normies are going to normie and boomers are going to boomer. All right, I get that fact. But understand something like, I'm smart enough to know the fucking difference. And I call you a conspiracy theorist because you literally, and it takes a lot for me to say that because I love conspiracy theories. I do, right? But like my problem is once the fucking spell is broken and I see the magic trick, it just doesn't make any fucking sense anymore to me. You know what I mean? So we're gonna bang this out. I apologize, folks.
People act like there's something wrong with sitting down to study something. I'll give you a case in point of a very recent so-called conspiracy theory. I read a lot of alternative media because Anybody with a brain knows that any of the corporate media out there, it's all controlled by the same 6 corporations. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's an admitted fact. I'll show anybody the mainstream reference on it. It's in things like Business Weekly or Business Insider. They'll tell you 95% of your mainstream media, they'll tell you probably, is owned by the same 6 incestuous corporations. Those same 6 incestuous corporations, of which we know have a very tight relationship with the Central Intelligence Agency in the United States. All of that is just a fact, not a conspiracy theory. I mean, really, there's this, I can already hear the line going of people going, ha, 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 calling me a nutty conspiracy theorist, and everything I just stated is factual, above board, and just true. And
you're not wrong about that, all right? You're legit. You are not wrong about that. On some real shit, all right? You're not fucking wrong about the fact that individuals out here, you know what I'm saying? Like the CIA's out here running the fucking news. Like, yo, like Jeff Bezos has a $10 million contract or $100 million contract with fucking the CIA. You know what I mean? He also fucking owns the Washington Post. I get that mentality. All right. I understand this fully. All right. And I know that fucking Project Mockingbird never got shut the fuck down. I know this fully. That's why we don't trust the mainstream media. All right. But what we do trust, you know what I'm saying, are people who do things like run numbers and report stories on the fucking ground. You don't even have to be fucking alternative media. Like, yo, there's plenty of small town operations out here writing shit down and explaining things from fucking one perspective, and you go, oh, that's why that happened. It's a basic fucking premise, okay? All you have to do is do a little research into things, and you don't have to be spouting conspiracy nonsense, all right? Legit. You can get around a lot of this stuff by paying attention to international news, not alternative media, international fucking news. You know, and you stand here and read what their state put out. You read what our state put out. You read what Great Britain put out. You read what fucking Germany put out. You read what fucking Africa put out, right? And then you go through the fucking forward and you go, all right, let's get a fucking actual picture of what the hell's really going on. You know, and I report on these things all the time. And guess what? 99% of the time, I'm about a year and a half ahead of the curve of where things are. It's why my channel's kind of right, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because, like, yo, I'm not on the spot with things. I'm a year and a half ahead of things. I'm 6 months ahead of things. I'm a month ahead of things, right? Or I'm actually just out here telling you the truth and not going, it's the Chinese, right? Like, yo, because I'm not interested in standing here having a boogeyman to blame. I'm interested in the fucking truth, because this is a pro-truth channel. But let's keep banging. And I'm sorry, it's going to be a little bit of a delay, man. Fucking out. OBS is overloaded with the amount of shit.
If you can't admit that, then that's problem one. So now, if you know you can't trust the mainstream media because you know it's controlled, hell, let's pretend you're a huge Trump fan. Now, I know you're not, Eric, and I have sort of a love-hate relationship with the guy. But be that as it may, let's say you're a Trump guy, of which there's lots of them. They just seem to have this idea that oh my goodness, what point was I about to make about Trump? We were saying, when you look at Donald Trump, this is a president of the United States who was elected saying that the press is the enemy, that the press is controlled, that there is a deep state that runs our government, that has been trying to run a coup attempt against him. All of that has come out of the president of the United States' mouth, which they used to ridicule him for, but now no longer do. And now his opposition, including much of the opposition press, openly states that there's a deep state. Oh, and you can just go and look and see that in 2012, 2013, whenever that was, it wasn't too long ago, it became totally legal for CIA to propagandize the American people.
Yeah, and see, here's the problem when you say things like this, right? Because there's a deep state, right? You know, and like it gets at Alex Jones, like, well, I'll tell you what, folks, a deep state are out here working with interdimensional space demons to create human fish hybrids that are going to walk around the earth and try to pretend to be humans through some type of holographic projection. You know, and they're going to use ESPN 8 to Ocho and implant the image of them inside of your mind as they walk around, right? And like the truth is the deep state are just fucking government workers. All right, like, yo, it's niggas at the ATF, it's people's at the fucking INS, it's individuals at the IRS, it's people at the Federal Reserve, it's individuals who work for the fucking State Department, it's individuals who work for the Department of Land Management, right? And fucking like education, the EPA, fucking, you know, water regulatory industries, like all this fucking shit, the National Geological Service, right? Like, yo, and there's all these deep state workers who, you know, have been there for 20 years or 15 years, and they've seen presidents come and presidents go, and they just want their job to continue on. And so they will act in a manner in which they'll try to protect their fucking jobs and livelihood. That's really what the deep state is, right? And this is why you're having the problem in Virginia where they're trying to ban guns and all this type of shit, is because the individuals in Alexandria stood here and voted for no Trumpers, right? They were all no Trumpers. That's why Virginia remotely turned blue. Why? Because they hated fucking Donald Trump, because their jobs were in jeopardy. See, and the truth, right? The truth is, you know what I mean, pretty fucking simple. You know what I'm saying? But like the thing is you would much rather see it as some crazy conspiracy theory about some nonsense, all right? And you just go, no, man, like, yo, calm the fuck down, all right? You don't have the documentation. I have the documentation right here, all right, when it comes down to it. You know, and that's really the situation. And you need to fucking understand it. Like, yo, you don't know as much as you think you do about shit, because you're not looking into it, and you're looking at it through a conspiracy theory lens. And I look at it through a conspiracy theory lens, and I look at it through a normie lens, and I talk to normal people about it. I talk to state workers and government workers, and I start understanding their mentalities, right? And when you start understanding that mentality, and you start understanding the WASP mentality of things, right? And you start understanding the Harvard and Yale mentalities of things. And when you start understanding the black perspective of things, you start understanding the fucking immigrant perspective of things. And you start kind of mixing these things together, and you get a better picture of what it's really about. You know, and that's the fucking problem, is you have a hammer, right? And you have to make every fucking problem look like a goddamn nail. And that's really what the issue is. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, especially when it comes down to like being between me and you, you know what I'm saying? When the reality is what the reality is, you know what I'm saying?
It shouldn't take you any time at all to realize that, okay, and in fact, among the current president's toughest critics, among journalists, among mainstream journalists, there was a mainstream news analysis that showed like the 16 top, no less than 16 of the top journalists who attacked President Trump in the news have open, direct CIA and FBI ties. That doesn't mean I'm on Trump's side, or that his critics are.
Yeah, but if you also look at the top 15 or 16 open fucking Trump critics, you notice they got a bump in their ratings when they started quarreling with Trump, like Jim Acosta. That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? And again, it comes back to like, who pays you? You know what I'm saying? That's really the issue, is who the fuck pays you. You know, and yeah, it's CIA, but on the same point, think about it like this, man. They're Northrop Gunrum fucking and Boeing and all these people run ads on all these fucking, you know what I mean, anti-Trump channels. So, you know, if you want space contracts and things of this nature, and Donald Trump's in jeopardy of standing here closing your shit down, you know what I mean, and fucking taking away your NASA programs, or, you know what I mean, your fucking special regulatory shit, because, you know what I mean, fucking he's running around like a fucking, you know, chicken with his head cut off going, what the fuck is this? The fuck is this? The fuck is this? And I mean, and, you know, fucking you're worried about that, you're going to run shit that's anti-him. You know what I mean? Because that's what's good for you, and you're advertising on that fucking channel. So you're going to want the people on that channel to have a certain opinion about this individual. It's been this way forever. You know what I mean? Again, go back to trace the money. You know what I mean? But, you know, by all means, let's keep fucking doing it your goddamn way. You know what I mean? Because that's just fucking working out peachy for us.
We're done now with the days of pretending that the media is not controlled, okay? We're done. It is now mainstream political discourse to say that there's a controlled media and that there's a deep state. So anybody who's still rolling their eyes at the ideas of a deep state controlling things and a controlled press, you're not an adult. Get out of the conversation. The press is controlled. Grow up. Now, this leaves us saying, well, what are the alternative sources of information? The alternative sort media, especially the stuff that's independent, is all stuff that you have to evaluate carefully. And that's what I do. I read almost exclusively alternate media, but I make sure to get a good mix, and I make sure to go to sources that I try to sniff out any corporate ties or any political ties. And that doesn't mean I won't listen to them. I just want to know what those ties are and what they're going to be. Transparency. I look for transparency and honesty. And to give an example, and I am going to bring in a specific example, I read a lot of so-called conspiracy literature and stuff on what's going on globally on a number of things, and I began reading from some fairly sober sources and hearing from some fairly sober and reasonable sources giving good data back in October, telling us we were going to see major food shortages this spring, and even telling us what shortages we should expect to see. I've tried telling people, including guys like Tom Pnoid, for example, all the way back then, say, here, look at this. I got nothing but condescension. I got nothing but dismissal. I got nothing but flippant.
Yeah, see, here's the issue, okay? And I used to follow this stuff myself because I thought it was important, but it's not, all right? Okay, so let me explain how this works, all right? Because you were talking about fucking grain and, things and whatever, like fucking we had a massive drought in places like Iowa or whatever the case might be, and like fucking we had the same thing back in like 2016, right? There were 2 years where, the fucking droughts were at their absolute worst. One was 1928, some shit like that, when the Dust Bowl started. And then the second one was 2012. Those are the 2 worst years on record. And I don't think any of us noticed anything in 2012. Do you know why? Because we overproduce a massive amounts of food, okay? And it's put into a global market. And we feed most of the world out of where America is the world's breadbasket, and China's been producing a shit ton of grain as also, especially in the northwest corridor of their country. And when these things happen, what happens is it's kind of like oil. Like, oh man, everybody goes, man, we're self-sufficient. We can, like, that's not the problem. The problem is the rest of the world will buy that oil. You know what I mean? Like, if the rest of the world runs out of oil and we still have oil, right, the rest of the world will bid up the price of our oil, right? Because that's how that operates, right? Because, like, a company would be dumb if they go, hey, man, we're only going to sell to America, right? And unless America, like the government came in and stepped in and said, you're only allowed to sell to Americans, right? And this is part of the fucking problem with this mentality, is because of the fact that, like, you don't understand that the food's on a global scale, right? And the amount of money it fucking, like the amount of money grain costs and the amount of subsidies we have for grain and corn and soy and things of this nature, in American farming is unfucking believable. And 1% of our population feeds us. Like, that's another crazy thing that you wouldn't have any fucking idea about unless you did the fucking research behind things. In which I do, all right? Because I do this fucking research all the time for my channel. Because I make videos on a daily. So every day I do research and I learn new things, all right? And this is the problem. When you said, oh, man, we're having a massive problem. And I looked at it and I went, nah, don't worry about it. And we're sitting here today and I'm going, nah, don't worry about it. We're fucking good. And that's the situation. And then you're gonna bring up some shit. Hang on, let's let this motherfucker stand here and bring this shit the fuck up real quick. Because like it's important you understand this.
Month after month after month, there was story after story after story saying these food shortages are coming, and there would be references you could go read, but you also had to listen to and look at the analysis that showed why it was so. So, for example, you might see a report in the news that farmers are allowing large amounts of crops to die in the field. And you may not think anything of that story because that does happen year over year. But then you got to go back and look at the analysis that go into it and say, wait, no, this is why these numbers are not normal. Yes, every year there's waste, but no, it's way above normal here. And there's crops rotting, and crops rotting in the field. I was listening to direct interviews with farmers saying, We have no one to come pick our food. Our food is going to die here because we have no one to come harvest this and take it to market for us. Come help us, please. And the help was not arriving. In fact, that's still going on now. I was just listening.
Okay, so let's discuss this, because I guess it's something that I've talked about for fucking years, even before like I was a YouTuber, right? This is something that like I've always thought was terrible, and I've spoken about it while I've been on YouTube. I think our slave labor, us using immigrants to fucking pick our fucking food, is terrible for us. All right, and I think Americans need to starve. All right, I think we do. I think we need to starve, and we need to pay what the fuck food's actually worth. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Tom Pease wants to legitimately expose how devalued our currency really is. All right? Because I don't like the fact that they devalue our currency, and it doesn't show. Because we have slave labor picking our motherfucking fruit and vegetables and wheat and grain and tobacco and onions and all this shit, right? And in the fact that they don't have, or they have fucking slave labor, it keeps the cost down for the end consumer. And in doing so, it allows us to get away from the fact that, you know what I mean, like, if you had to pay an American to do this fucking job, legit, you know what I mean, you'd be paying 3, 4, 5 times that fucking wage. And that needs to be shown. All right, because legit, it's not like, we're not right for having Mexicans pick our shit. You know, I mean, that's the same way, like, it's the same argument that you would have out of a slave owner from the South. Right? Somebody dismissing slavery in the North, like, oh, you know, I fucking wear cotton. Or an individual with their iPhone, like, oh, fucking, I'm not Chinese. I don't care about some fucking person jumping off a fucking roof. And I mean, like, you know, because they don't want to fucking make our iPhones anymore because they're basically fucking prison laborers. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, you're legit, because I am a human being, and I think it's fucking bad, right? But, like, what you have to understand is that I fully fucking support this ideology, right? Like, number one, you know, I know it's, like, fucking not really happening, right? And, I mean, there's farmers bitching. And the reason why the farmers are bitching is because they want more immigrants, all right? They want more cheaper people, and they don't want to pay the labor. They don't want to pay the wages. And these individuals are people, you know what I mean, who are monster fucking producers of food, like ConAgra or fucking, fucking Tyson or fucking whoever, right? You know what I mean, whoever the fuck's picking the goddamn fruit, you know, Dole or fucking whoever. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean, fucking Bonita, right? Pick a fucking company. I don't care, right? But Del Monte, right? All these companies, they want Mexican labor because they go, Americans won't do these jobs. They will if they get hungry and you pay them enough. It's that simple. All right? And it needs to get that back down to that fucking point. People need to understand it, like, yo, look, things ain't going to continue this way forever because, you know what, we're going to run out of Mexicans here soon because the Mexicans are below birth replacement as we are. And people don't understand what birth replacement is. You know, I've had a fucking argument with these fucking communists from fucking Europe and go, oh man, fucking, what do you mean we're not fucking making enough people? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, you're at 1.8 fucking kids per woman. All right. That's not enough to replace your population. Oh, well, that's not a real thing. Look at this fucking number over here. It's 1,800 or 180 kids per every 1,000 women, whatever. Right. And I'm like, yo, that's 1.8 kids per woman. And they go, oh, I don't fucking care. I don't care about your dumb shit, all right? I don't give a fuck about your nonsense. Legit. I just don't give a fuck. I'm trying to bring the truth. I am. I'm trying really hard to bring the truth. And, like, yo, thank you, Max Maria, for fucking calling me out because it allows me to do so. You know what I'm saying? In a manner in which I can explain it and give out fucking evidence. Love it. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love it. Motherfuckers. God damn it. Sorry, man, this fucking shit's running slow today. Too much websites.
An independent news report with a group of farmers saying, literally, we're in trouble right now. We need help and we can't get it. Our food's not going to be available if someone doesn't come help us get it harvested for you, and come help. And it's not coming. The help's not coming. Right when I was told and tried to tell people we should start expecting them the food shortages as soon as March, what happened? We started seeing our first rationing in March. Over a month in.
What rationing? For fuck's sake, what rationing? Legit. I really want to know what rationing. Because, like, yo, I have not seen any rationing ever. At all. All right, there's no reports of rationing. There's no fucking rationing. Nothing. There's no rationing. Legit. I mean, like, stores are going, you can only buy, like, fucking so many gallons of milk or so many loaves of bread or fucking whatever. And that's only because they want to keep fucking stock, because people keep coming in and buying like fucking 60 loaves at a shot, and they can't keep enough in the fucking stores for everybody. But that's not rationing. That's people buying fucking massive quantities of goddamn food because they're locked in their fucking houses. And they're concerned that this is going to turn into martial law, and they're going to end up fucked up not having any food, and they don't want to be relying upon the fucking government rationing. Yo, for fuck's sake, man. Jesus Christ.
We're about close to a month into this now. And while we keep being assured by these people, guys like Tom Pnoid, that it's all going to be better, that all these shelves are going to refill, and it's all going to be fine, we've got independent report after independent report, also citations from the USDA and other sources saying no, from both the UN and from the White House at this point, saying expect serious food shortages globally and within the United States.
All right, finally we get to my motherfucking first piece of goddamn evidence. You know what I'm saying? I want to submit this for motherfucking evidence A, right? Interact. Hang on a minute. All right, so coronavirus may cause food shortages, government task force, right? Oh, no wonder fucking like, my shit was running slow. I'm gonna fucking delete this motherfucker as soon as I'm done. Okay, so all right, so let's see here. Hang on a minute. Fucking this is from the fucking White House, all right? This is what the White House fucking said. If it'll fucking let me go up in the motherfucker. All right. Nation been to see food shortages for some products. The people working on a supply chain lack fucking personal protective equipment, warns an internal Trump administration document obtained by Yahoo News. Empty supermarket shelves have become one of the most jarring images of the coronavirus pandemic, which has sickened 270,000 Americans and killed 7,000. We're much higher than that now. But there have been no food shortages that sent 90% of American population being under state enforced lockdown orders. And despite difficulties people have had in obtaining certain foods like pasta, grocery stores, and generally well stocked, right? Grocery stores are generally well stocked, right? Government officials have argued that any temporary shortages are the result of unprecedented demand, as people have bought more than usual rather than an actual supply chain meltdown. I want to assure you that our food supply chain is sound. Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Agriculture. Right? How do we Perdue, one of the Secretary of Agriculture, whatever. That, however, could change. People who make, package, and deliver food lack personal protective equipment or PPE, including face masks and gloves, according to the internal document shared with Yahoo News, which provides a daily update in various aspects of the coronavirus response, including details ranging from state-by-state infections to hospital capacities and test sites. All right, so that's from the White House. And let's talk about this real quick, right? And I mean, because this is fucking important, legitimately. This is fucking really goddamn important. These are what I call, all right, motherfucking nuances. And that's what most people call these things, okay? Nuances are motherfucking important, all right? Legit. They're fucking really, really important things. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it really comes down to it. They're super important. Coronavirus measures could cause global food shortage, UN warns. All right. So, protectionist measures by national governments during the coronavirus could provoke food shortages around the world, the UN's food body has warned. Harvests have been good and the outlook for staple crops is promising, but a shortage of field workers brought on by the virus crisis and a move towards protectionism, tariffs, and export bans mean problems could quickly appear in the coming weeks. So, okay, here's the thing. Now, why are there no workers in the field, and why is it that we're having a problem, you know what I'm saying, moving things around? Because everybody's under lockdown orders, and illegals can't move around inside of the population if the population isn't moving. Right? It's much more dangerous to move around when no one else is moving. It's like being a rabbit out in an open motherfucking field or a desert. You know what I'm saying? Hawks will catch you quick, and the hawks are the police. All right? That's the fucking problem. The worst thing that can happen is that governments restrict the flow of food, he said. All measures against free trade will be counterproductive. Now is not the time for restrictions or putting in place trade barriers. Now is time to protect the flow of food around the world. See, this is what the UN was warning people about, right? And these are the nuances that I wanted to motherfucking address when it came down to it. All right? Like, yo, this is the shit that this motherfucker doesn't want to talk about. All right. So this here, legitimately, right? Fucking this here is this is a document from the motherfucking from this fucking Ellsworth Cooperative Creamery. I forgot to put this in my last video. I wanted to put this in here just so everybody understood what the situation is, because this is, eventually going to get brought up by Max Maria to somebody. All right. Rapidly changing conditions in the state are taking a toll in the cooperative and your milk check. The CNA has dropped 30% in value and no bottom yet. Established barrel prices are $1.17 and our bread and butter, cheese curds, the food service has dropped. The customer cancels 15 loads this month alone. To counter this, we are still processing milk and the cheese as best we can for long-term storage. This week, we had one company break their written contract to take 8 loads of milk per day, causing a backlog in cooperatives' plants. We may need to dump milk if our milk supply is not reduced. All right. So in other words, what the situation is, and here, the milk price is fixed. No matter what happens, you're going to pay $3 a fucking gallon, no matter what happens. All right. The mailbox price is estimated at 17 carton weight, whatever, which includes premiums at least the next 2 months with the reduced class 3 price until fall. Should we become unable to process all our milk, we need to begin dumping milk, which will drop this price another 60 cents to $1.20 per carton weight. This board is urging all patrons in the amount of milk to be shipped to reduce the amount of milk being shipped by 7%. Suggesting of culling cows, dying cows early, and reducing the feed ration or 3 months to reduce milk volume being shipped. The board of directors has also approved the following program to encourage members to quit dairy farming by paying the equity in the cooperative for the years 2010 to 2019, provided the following criteria is met. So basically what they're saying here is that they will fucking stand here and pay you to retire early, right? If you're interested in not having to deal with this bullshit anymore, you know what I'm saying? You can stand here and just flat out quit, we'll give you a retirement package. This program is effective for members beginning April 2nd, 2020. This program is only for the first 100,000 pounds of milk per day of member milk. The equity payout will be 100% of equity through 2019. Members must not sell their cows to existing members as the cooperative. Members must provide proof of where the cows went to the board of directors. Cows must be sold by April 15, 2020. Members will not be allowed to ship back to the cooperative without board approval. Prior approval by the cooperative members should be obtained by secure a payout. Right. The board encourages you to take swift actions on this program to counter these historic times. We will continue to adjust as needed and process your milk. If you have any question, please talk to your field representative or call me. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Fucking, yeah. Anyway, right. Fucking, this doesn't actually fucking say. Milkshake April 1st. Anyway, yeah. So, look, they're not telling farmers to fucking quit. All right. This is something that somebody else fucking stood here and fucking, put out, that I was fucking just aggravated about as an in general thing. Also, so I wanted to address another thing with y'all, right? Interact. Because, I've seen this in 4 different fucking channels. Oh my fucking God, these fucking people and their fucking retarded nonsense. Okay, so. Okay, here's the deal. When these individuals stood here and put in measures to fucking restrict what can and cannot be sold inside of stores in certain states like Connecticut, Michigan, a couple other places, right? They also restricted the amount of seeds that can be sold. Okay. They put seeds in there, and landscapers as well, because landscapers go house to house and they're concerned with them spreading the virus because they go from place to place to place to place to place. So it's, kind of like an automatic place where germs can be fucking spread. That's what their mentality is. I'm not saying it's good or bad or whatever, but I'm telling you exactly what their thinking is on this. All right. All right, so here's the article. Lansing Bob Cosmill, owner of D&B Plants in Richmond, used the word frustration Friday to describe the feelings of landscape and nursery businesses towards government Gretchen Whitmer's latest stay-at-home order. Cosmill is among a group of businesses owners and Republican lawmakers who argue Whitner's Thursday executive order to stem the spread of COVID-19 goes too far, imposing restrictions that other states are avoiding. While saying he understands the urgent need to combat the virus, Cosmos added, a lot of these functions can be done safely and be done without zero contact, non-minimal, zero. My business in particular is on the edge of being solvent, who's owned D&B Plants, a wholesale grocer, for 37 years. Is pretty scary. To the frustration of businesses and advocacy votes that were representing Whitmore's new stay-at-home order issued Thursday bars workers in certain fields like landscaping who operate in other states. 2 sentences in Whitmer's new order help set the state apart, according to critics. The sentences define who qualifies as critical infrastructure workers, those eligible to keep leaving their homes to go to their jobs. Whitmer's order specifically cites guidance on critical infrastructure workers issued by the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency on March 19th. This order does not adopt any subsequent guidance document released by the same agency, the new order says. The federal agencies issued a guidance on March 28th, adding more workers, including landscapers, to provide necessary services and individuals performing housing construction related to combating a nation's existing housing supply shortage. The newer guidance includes employees supporting the 2020 census, clergy for essential support, and workers supporting the operation of firearm retailers and shooting ranges. This list is intended to help state, local, and tribunal territory officials as they work to protect their communities while ensuring the continuity of functions critical to public health and safety, as well as the economic and national security. Christopher Krebs, director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, wrote in a letter describing the guidance. The governors of Ohio and Indiana included new guidance when they issued their extended stay-at-home orders. Whitmer's office didn't immediately respond to a question about why the new guidance wasn't allowed in Michigan. During her Thursday press conference, she said the state needed to double down to save lives. More than 1,000 people have already died, and Michigan's the third most cases of the virus nationally. Well, we can come up with all sorts of scenarios where we can make an argument that someone is safe in whatever activity as they do whatever they do. Every single exemption to a stay-at-home order makes more porous and makes it less likely to work. Anyway, yeah, so this is kind of the deal. So here's the deal. The truth of the matter is you can still order seeds online. It's literally not illegal to order fucking seeds. All right, it's not illegal to buy seeds. It's not illegal to sell fucking seeds. It's just among 1,000 other goddamn products that aren't allowed to be sold by motherfucking local goddamn fucking grocery stores or whatever the case might be. All right. It's that fucking simple, you know what I mean? It's that fucking basic. Motherfuckers need to calm the fuck down and stop being fucking retarded. Just like they're not allowed to sell fucking, books or fucking clothes or, fucking adjustable wrenches or fucking hammers, right? Like, they're not allowed to sell these things anymore. You have to fucking order, like in these states where they have these things, you have to order it offline. You can pick it up at the fucking sidewalk. It's that simple. Okay? That's all it is. Okay, shit's getting lumped together. They're not fucking signaling out people to fucking go, oh, they don't want you to grow your own food. It's not the deal. All right, you're telling me, right? Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. Fucking it's so fucking stupid, and it's really fucking annoying that individuals don't sit here and go, well, it kind of just looks like fucking government workers being government workers, because they suck at their fucking jobs. They always have, and they always fucking will. Fucking Jesus, man. Listen.
Literally, the United Nations says, expect global food shortages in a major way, especially of protein. The White House has stories out. The White House has revealed to expect major shortages in the coming weeks, not months or year, but in the coming weeks. Expects major shortages on things like eggs and dairy and other protein.
I literally just read you a fucking report that we have too much dairy. Now, I have heard reports about eggs. I have. Legit. Because it's just a turnaround. This is what it is. Right? And, immigrant labor, which is hard to find right now because they can't move around. We didn't think that one through fully, did you? When you made your slaves illegal. Stupid fucking white people.
Products, okay, and expect to see rationing get worse and worse. I still talk to some of these bitches like Tom Pnoid, who tries to just pat people on the head and call them conspiracy theorists. And to this day, he's still calling me a conspiracy theorist and says there's no food shortages. It's all just idiots rushing. And he's full of crap. He just is. And that is, and calling somebody a conspiracy theorist and not even looking at the data and talking to him about it when he gives it to you, that's a bitch move. That's a know-it-all move. That's the move of a man who's too much of a coward to admit that he might be wrong about something. That's why I don't let him post.
I'm 95% sure I'm the first one to go, oh, I was wrong. Like, yo, I was talking to Super Duper Swagger Scooper, the fucking in my goddamn Discord the other day. Legit, we were having a conversation about something, and I was absolutely fucking wrong about it. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, we don't import fucking meat. And then he goes, yeah, we do. And I go, no, we don't. And then fucking I looked it up, and we do. And I mean, fucking, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Fucking is what it is. But yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like, legit, I made a video yesterday explaining how there are no food shortages. There's an overabundance of food because fucking people aren't buying and they close down all the fucking restaurants. Yo, it's fucking annoying.
Shit in my server anymore either until he stops lying and starts taking some responsibility for misleading people. There are food shortages. The United Nations says so, and the Trump administration says so.
They didn't say so. Legit. They didn't say so. And I just read them to you, right? So you knew exactly what the situation was. I wanted y'all to know exactly what was said. All right? Because it's important that we say exactly what was said. And I read them to you, and neither one of those sounded like there was food shortages, did there? Because, like, yo, they said there might be if we don't have personal protective equipment. And I made a video, not yesterday, day before, about fucking the food abundance and how, you know, we've had 3 meat packing plants closed because individuals came down with the corona. And, you know, I mean, since then, one of them's opened back up because, like, yo, all they had to do was fucking clean and set up some new ways of doing things, and how factories are actually standing here isolating individuals doing their jobs so that they don't end up passing viruses back and forth. And, you know, I mean, they're buying massive amounts of masks and things of this nature. Like, y'all, like, this is the problem, is that you don't know and you're just spouting retarded nonsense again.
There are them. They're here. They're now. They exist. You don't get to call conspiracy theory anymore. And you've been wrong to insult people for 6 months, calling them conspiracy theorists when they were right and you were wrong. Just admit it or just be a little bitch. But see, here's the thing. This is part of the whole pattern with people who use the term conspiracy theorist. Because you will notice throughout your life, anytime somebody calls you a conspiracy theorist, they are refusing.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? When you have a lack of labor, right? That's not a food shortage. That's a lack of labor shortage, right? Which is well, what's the word for that? Oh yeah, good for the fucking pocketbook of Americans. When the whole of the wages, when the bottom rungs of the wages go up, the rest of our wages have to go up with them, which means you have more money, which means you get to buy stuff. And if stuff goes up in price, it kind of all equals out. So there's not a food shortage. Just stop. Like, fucking Jesus Christ, stop.
In any way to talk to you about the evidence that you have. They are declaring you are a lesser human being and a stupid person because you have looked at something that they refuse to look at. This means they are choosing to be ignorant and you are choosing to learn something. Now, the fact of the matter is, for example, in this example of the food shortages, I don't know how deep it is, and I don't know how deep it goes. But when I've got farmers and agriculture officials and independent journalists with years of credibility in my eyes behind.
Also, right, by the way, you know what I'm saying? With fucking all that shit, like, yo, they're looking for stimulus money. They wanted free checks. Legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, in the bottom of that fucking article, you know what I'm saying? It said we should spend part of that $48 billion, which was the original one, because that's when the fuck that actual article came out from the White House, right? Fucking, they said we should spend part of the $48 billion on farmers, right? Because that's what that was. It was a lobby by the farmers to get free money. This is the problem that you're not understanding. It's about money. A lot of this is about money. People are trying to take advantage of this fucking situation. And you have to be fucking careful. And not... You're giving free advertising and you're giving free shit to these people. All right? When you stand here and you go, oh man, you know, fucking, we don't have enough da-da-da-da-da. When you hear somebody go, we don't have enough workers, right? We're having a problem paying our workers. You know, fucking, we don't have anybody coming out here. It's because, like, yo... Money talks and bullshit walks, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, money talks, bullshit walks. If the risk is too great and the money's not enough, they're not going to do the job. So they need to pay them enough that the money's worth it. And they're not willing to do that because it would drive up the price. And if they have to drive up the price, and especially right now, you know what I'm saying? While like, you know, fucking, there's a fucking lack of demand. You know what I mean? Because we have a glut of shit on the market. It is what it is. You know, supply and demand, man. Economics. You can learn economics.
Behind them saying there's food shortages coming, motherfucker, and you're still sitting there, and all over the country there's food shortages. The White House and the UN are both saying there's food shortages and they're going to get worse. You're going to call people conspiracy nuts. You know what? No, that is a coward thing to say. And guess what? That's a way of stopping people from thinking on anything. Like, if people doubt we should be doing the response to the virus that we're, you know, doing right now, are we conspiracy theorists simply because we question if the science is legit?
No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because like we all know that this disproportionately fucking affects older individuals, right? And younger individuals should be upset about what the fuck they're doing to your fucking freedom. Though I'm afraid, you know what I'm saying, that that's not the case in a lot of fucking cases. You know what I mean? And by the way, you know, it violates the fuck out of the Constitution and gives the government new fucking power it's never had before. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yo, by all means, stand here and try to let me conflate one issue with another. You know what I'm saying? I love the fucking straw man that you're building right now.
No, being skeptical of science is not being a conspiracy theorist. It's being skeptical of presented science. Being skeptical of the government's response to something is not being a conspiracy theorist. It's being...
Y'all, look, you know and I know, all right, that legitimately, me and you, all right, have had many conversations where I've said I don't believe in a lot of the fucking dumb sciences that they had. Because I was on the train of fuck string theory long before like fucking it came out. Oh, it's bullshit. I knew the situation. I already knew. You know why? Because like, yo, I knew it's a dumb thought. You know what I mean? Like fucking... I'm always critical of government, always critical of fucking science. I'm just not critical in the way that you like. And that's the problem. I don't conform with your mentality. So therefore you think that I should just hop on your fucking bandwagon every time you come through. And you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when I go, nah, that's not the fucking case. Like, yo, I've done this research into this because I've made, nearly 1,000 videos at this fucking point. 600, 700, something along them type of lines. You would think maybe, just maybe, you know, with the amount of research I've done to make these videos, because like these videos are constantly me reading shit, constantly me learning things, constantly me fucking having to accept facts that I didn't think were true. And sometimes I go out to set out to make a video and I do some research on it and I find out I'm completely wrong and that video doesn't get fucking made. There's a lot of those. Legit, because I'm wrong a lot. Because I have to forget a lot of the stuff that I fucking learned. Because it wasn't right, because I was taught in a public school. And I understand this, but you don't. You're not quite grasping concepts yet. That it takes a lot for a fucking man to be able to admit he's fucking wrong. And you're just not willing to do that.
Skeptical of the government. And my God, haven't we all seen enough? I know maybe for a young man, a really young man like Eric here, because you're in your early 20s still. Tom Pnoid, he's in his mid-30s and has kids. He should know better by now. He should have seen this too, though. We've been lied to our whole lives about so many things, and I even see a certain hypocrisy that comes out of some of these people too. Like I've heard people like this praise the great robber barons of the 20th century, 19th and 20th centuries, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Carnegies, the Mellons, all these foundations, all these bankers, all these people who founded non-government organizations and charity foundations and built libraries and schools and hospitals, not, by the way, necessarily in the name of charity, but in the name of themselves and their own ideologies. These people who spent the last 100, 150 years designing our economic system, they put us in this position. I'll even hear some of these people say, well, the world can't support as many people as it has because the economic system can't handle it. Well, that's because the shitbag elites, like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Schiffs and the Morgans and all these people, some of whom hide behind Jewish identity, but who, you know, just so they can call you an anti-Semite if you call them out, even though they're not all Jewish. In fact, some of them probably definitely aren't, even though they claim to be, like the Rothschilds. But in any case, these rich bankers designed the economic system we have.
Okay, let's correct some shit. All right, Carnegie, Mellon, Morgan, and Rockefeller. All right, Rockefeller was a Christian. Morgan was a Christian. Carnegie was a fucking Christian, and fucking Mellon, I'm not absolutely sure about, to be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about Mellon. I just know he was a fucking banker. Mellon, I think Mellon fucking jumped in with fucking, he partnered with Morgan or some shit like that at some point. But yeah, fucking no. Rockefeller was a teetotaler. And I mean, like, yeah, he was an asshole. And yes, he fucking tried to grow his goddamn business. And you talk about all the hospitals and libraries and things of this nature. They did this shit out of like ill means. Let me explain this to you the best way I know how. John Locke said the long arm of the law, all right, keeps the fucking poor from robbing the rich, right? A strong arm of the law is what keeps everybody in there. You know, I mean, keeps the lower classes from overthrowing the upper classes, but eventually that'll give and break. And so what they do is these individuals take their money and try to enrich the poor as best they can, right? And they hope that their philanthropy will spare them. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it. And that's what a lot of this woke shit's about. A lot of these companies out here trying to do the right thing and, you know, trying to be like fucking feminists and fucking wokety woke motherfuckers or whatever. That's what that shit's really about. You know what I mean? It's about them motherfuckers they're trying to fucking do right by the community because they're relying upon the community, they're relying upon the country, they're relying upon the world to make more money. You know what I'm saying? They see it as an opportunity for advertising. They see it as an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to keep their riches and not get taxed. That's the reality of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they give up a certain percentage of their money in taxes. And then they go and they do more on their own so that, like, individuals won't try to come and take what's theirs. You know what I'm saying? Because if they see them standing here going like, look, they see guys like Jeff Bezos says, look, I'm going to donate, you know what I mean, I'm going to donate $1 billion to this coronavirus fight, right? Like, by all means, get it done. You know what I mean? You're donating $1 billion fucking dollars. It's like if you had $100, you donated $1. You know what I mean? Out of your $100 paycheck. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Fucking, you know, you might be donating like fucking 10 billion or some shit. I don't know. You donated a whole bunch of fucking money to this shit, right? To try and help and buy fucking masks and fucking give people food. He just donated fucking, you know what I mean, $100 million of fucking food banks and shit. You know, these are important things. And then, like, you know, he does, like, these individuals do a lot of shit. I mean, like Bill and Melinda Gates, like, he's trying to do the right thing by fucking, you know, I mean, giving out fucking, you know, these fucking whatchamacallits out in Africa, right? And they go, oh man, they're making them sicker and blah, blah, blah. And like, cause you want to believe that shit. There's no evidence of it, but you want to believe that shit, right? And you want to stand here and go, oh man, you know, fucking, these people are just evil, fucking horrible individuals, right? And I'm like, really? Everybody who's rich is just a horrible person. That's what it is. That comes from the communist upbringing. That comes from this fucking communist education system that's ran by women. And that's why you believe that. All right? Women literally taught you that shit. It's these motherfucking Marxists that taught this shit. Because they want you to hate capitalism. They want you to hate the individuals who are the most successful. Right? You don't get to be successful. Legit, you do not get to be successful without being some type of provider in this fucking country. You know what I mean? Jeff Bezos provides a fucking service. And Bill Gates took us into the 20th century, right? His technology is irreplaceable in the fucking modern field of fucking computers and electronics. Legit. Was he ruthless as a businessman? Sometimes. Was he an amazing philanthropist? Yes. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's pictures of him and Bono. And Bono really gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, Bono really cares. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Bono's like, yo, Bill Gates is trying his best too. They're all over here doing this shit. Constantly. Like, yo, you gotta understand, man. Like, yo, look. This communist bullshit needs to fucking stop.
And if someone wants to claim all these people would have starved or been poor without the robber barons designing this system, they have to prove that shit. Because we have a lot of data now that shows that the average medieval peasant lived better than we did, not worse. Lived about as long, lived about as healthy, lived much more free. And if our economic system weren't designed the way it was, because it is designed by humans, it's not artificial. If it were designed right, we have more than enough land to actually, I ran the numbers once. We could easily fit 100 billion people in North America.
Okay, so let's address this for a second, right? Because it's fucking important. Okay. Interact. All right. So here's the deal. How many people can Earth support? A late 18th century fucking philosopher Thomas Malthus wrote these ominous words in the essay. He saw the dire future of humanity, humans' unquenchable urge to reproduce, Malthus argued, would ultimately lead to us overpopulate the planet, eat up all its resources, and die in a mass famine. But what's the maximum fucking power of the Earth to provide subsistence? And when will our numbers push this planet to the limit? More importantly, was Malthus' vision of the future correct? Many scientists think the Earth has a maximum carrying capacity of 9 billion to 10 billion people. One such scientist, the eminent Harvard University sociobiologist Edward O. Wilson, bases his estimates on calculations of the Earth's available resources. As Wilson pointed out in the book, The Future of Life, not 2002, the constraints of the biosphere are fixed. All right. Aside from the limited availability of fresh water, there are indeed constraints on the amount of food that the Earth can produce, just as Malthus argued more than 200 years ago. Even in the case of maximum efficiency, which all the grains grown are dedicated to feeding humans instead of livestock, which is an inefficient way to convert plant energy into food energy, there's still a limit to how far the available quantities can reach. If everyone agreed to become vegetarians, leaving little or nothing for livestock, the present 1.4 billion hectares of available land, that's 3.5 billion acres, would support about 10 billion people. The 3.5 billion acres would produce approximately 2 billion tons of grain annually. He explained that's enough to feed 10 billion vegetarians, right? But only feed 2.5 billion U.S. omnivores, because so much of the vegetation is dedicated to livestock and poultry in the United States. So 10 billion people is the uppermost population limit where food is concerned, because it's extremely unlikely that everyone will agree to stop eating meat. Wilson thinks that the maximum carrying capacity of Earth based on future resources will likely fall short of 10 billion. According to population biologist Joe Callan at Columbia University, either environmental factors that limit the Earth's carrying capacity or the nitrogen cycle, available quantities of phosphorus, and atmospheric carbon concentrations. But there are a great amount of uncertainty in the impact of all these factors. In truth, no one knows what level peak population will be reached. Right? He said, fortunately, we may be spared from entering the end times phase of our overpopulation and starvation envisioned by Malthus. According to the United Nations Population Division, the human population will hit 7 billion on or around October 31st. And if projections are correct, we're en route to the population of 9 billion by 2050 and 10 billion by 2100. However, somewhere on the road between there is milestones scientists think it will make a U-turn. UN estimates the global population trends show that the families are getting smaller. Empirical data from 230 countries since 1950s shows that the great majority have fertility declines, said Garrett Heldig, Chief Population Estimates and Projections section at the UN. Globally, the fertility rate is falling to the replacement level, 2.1 per woman, the rate of which children replace their parents and make up for those who die young. If the global family rate does indeed reach replacement level by the end of the century, then the human population will stabilize around 9 billion to 10 billion. As far as the Earth's capacity is concerned, we have all gone about as far as we can go, but no further. All right, so with that being said, Okay, it's important that, you know what I mean, like fucking we understand like what the fucking numbers are, because like, you know, motherfuckers out here will just talk retarded until like you fucking correct them on what the fuck is going on and shit. You know what I mean? Real shit. So now 100 billion fucking people. Look, there's 12 or 13 problems with your mentality, right? You know what I mean? Like, there really is. It requires 2,000 calories a day for a human being to be able to survive, right? And the amount of calories gained by fucking the amount of food that's fucking processed, it just isn't positive. And on top of that, there's 10 calories of petrol energy in every 1 calorie of food in your fucking modern goddamn kitchen. All right? The average piece of food that you eat travels 2,000 miles before it got to your fucking plate. That's what you don't understand. Right? There's logistics involved. There's trucking, there's shipping, there's tankers, there's fucking processing plants, there's manufacturing, there's labor, there's heat loss, there's energy loss, there's fucking energy consumption. There's all these fucking things. And not all the fucking land is arable. You can't grow food in most of the places in Nevada. You can't grow food in most of the Mojave Desert. You can't grow food in the Sahara Desert. You can't grow food in the tropical rainforest. You can't cut down a tropical rainforest because you need fucking oxygen to be able to survive. This is why carrying capacity is important. There's only so much fucking growing cycle and time, and once you get above a certain fucking latitude. These are all things that you fucking people don't understand. And these are all things that you stand here and you wave in our face and go, oh, eugenics. Like, shut the fuck up. It's fucking dumb. Jesus Christ. This is the fucking problem. All right? This is what you're not fucking grasping.
Let me repeat, we could easily fit and feed 100 billion people just in North America. We're nowhere near that. If we're running out of resources and we can't take care of our old people and our poor people, it is not because the earth can't sustain it. It's because the fucks who designed our economic system designed it poorly, are still running it now, and their goal, openly stated in their own projects like the UN Agenda 2030, Agenda 2030 again being not a conspiracy theory but a real thing, they've announced that they want depopulation. They want old people dying sooner. It's even showing up in some of their literature. Basically, if you're over 70, they don't want to count you in the population figures, like you don't matter anymore. And they really are starting to make noises like we really should just have old people willing to die after a certain point because they're no longer useful.
All right. Let's address this. Okay. And I mean, like, yo, because I listened to like fucking 20 minutes of this, you know what I'm saying? We're at 16. So, I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there, right? Interact. Okay. So, we're going to address a couple of points here. You know what I'm saying? Just to stand here and crash the rest of his fucking reality back. You know what I'm saying? All right. Here's why Europe really needs more immigrants. If Western Europe wants to keep its social benefits, the countries of the EU are going to need more workers. No place in the world has an older population that's not into baby making more than Europe. No wonder policy planners are doing what they can to encourage immigration. Eastern Europe is old. The UK's median age is approaching midlife crisis, currently at 40.5, with fertility rates expected to hit 0 in Europe in the next decade. The only way the European Union can fight elderly poverty and maintain its expensive entitlement programs is to increase immigration. Another option to provide incentives to convince 20 and 30-something-year-olds to have more than one baby. Right? Maybe it's easier to call it a humanitarian crisis. This way you can convince apolitical voters that supporting migrants is simply a nice thing to do. Migrant arrivals in Europe, many from failed state Libya and Syria, Washington and NATO's hands in both, have made for divisive politics. It's become easier for politicians and their highly paid party strategists just paint the other as being too kumbaya progressive or just a xenophobic racist. There's more complicated truth here. Perhaps it's the math. The numbers do not add up for Europe. They're going extinct. graph to show this puts Europe in a pickle. The idea of opening its borders to Eastern Europe was a way to expand the European capital and labor markets. They increased the labor pool, driving down wages in working class manufacturing towns to come on par with that of Poland and the Czech Republic. They also got an educated workforce who had a long history of European customs. The one thing they did not get from the old Warsaw Pact nations was youth. Poland's median age is 40.3. Czech Republic is 41.7. New Eurozone member Lithuania in the Baltics is even older, 43.4. Despite the fact that many young people, say under 40 from the Baltics, have moved to richer Western European cities like London and Stockholm, Sweden's average age is still higher than the U.S. at 41.2. Right? Like, yo, because the U.S. is at 37. It's like, yo, this is the problem. All right? What do you do when there's not enough young to pay for the old? What do you do? Legit, that's a real question. You know what I'm saying? That's an actual fucking question. You know what I mean? When it really comes down to it. Like real shit. Like I'm not standing here like fucking like, yo, my solution, like, yo, fucking for this coronavirus shit would just let it run through. You know what I mean? Let the old people go. Because like, yo, they are legit a fucking drag on our goddamn economy. We can't afford it anymore. We can't afford the promises that we made. And we should have never made those fucking promises. I've been breaking down the pension crisis for fucking years. You ain't listened to a fucking word of it, apparently. You ain't heard a word I fucking said. And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, yo, I listen when you talk. You know what I mean? I try to pay attention to as much stuff as you do. But, like, yo, you don't listen to a lot of the shit that I do, and all of it's important. When I talk about the fucking retail apocalypse, I talk about the fucking pension crisis, I talk about the fucking Social Security crisis, I talk about fucking Medicare, I talk about fucking Medicaid, I talk about Social Security. I do these fucking videos because you know what? It's reality. It's numbers. It's math. It don't lie. There's no need to misstate facts. But when you have 40, 50% of your population collecting, and only 30 or 40% working, and everybody else is underage, what do? How much longer should I be taxed to pay for old fucks? That's a real question. What are we going to do to our kids? We have children. Is it cool for you to be standing here passing down your fucking shit to them? Is it cool for you to fucking tell them, here's a bill you're never going to be able to pay, and they're going to tax you to dog shit and bring in immigrants to replace you? Is that cool for you? Because that's not cool for me. I'm not with that ideology. See, that's the mentality that you're fucking missing. Oh, they're going to fucking kill old people. Fuck them. They've already had their chance. They left us this mess. And now we have to fucking deal with it. Add to that the fact that, like, yo, women vote so we can't get rid of their fucking entitlements. That's the real solution, is that they should be moving in with us. And I know you go, oh, my personal, I don't fucking care. Work it the fuck out. Legit. Work it the fuck out. Your parents should be staying with you. You know why? Or you should be staying with your parents, one of the two. And I mean, like, yo, maybe your wife should come live with you and your parents. And, like, yo, you should just move on. Like, yo, and when they get to be too old to work, you become the head of fucking household. You know what I'm saying? You have your fucking kids. Do what you got to do. Pay the fucking bills. They fucking croak. They leave you the fucking house and the car, whatever savings they had. And then society moves forward. Because that's how it worked for thousands of years. How about back when there was, what did you say earlier? Medieval peasants? That's how it worked with them. How about that one? Maybe that's the way we should go. Oh, and by the way, you know what I'm saying? Let's address this too, right? Let's address this too about your fucking nonsense with this. They want to kill everybody, right? Fucking, I'm sorry I went to a Reddit post to fucking grab this, but whatever, fucking, right? I often see leftist politicians and bloggers say that capitalism requires infinite economic growth, sometimes infinite exponential growth. This would, of course, be a problem since we don't really have infinite resources, but it is true. I thought the reason the expanding economy was infinite recurring lending side effect of banking. Although tightly connected to capitalism, I don't see why lending and thus expansion we require for capitalism. All right, so capitalism does require infinite growth because of one simple fact: interest on loans. Because of interest, there will never be enough money to repay all the debts in society. The only way to remedy this void is increase the money supply. When the money supply is increased, more capital is available for loans, so more loans and thus more interest is added to the equation. That only ends the only ends of this vicious cycle are to devalue the currency, where smaller amounts of money have more value, or economic collapse. When you increase the money supply without regard to supply to demand of goods and services, is certain for disaster. All right, hang on. Fucking yeah, because all right. Anyway, so it also requires an infinite expansion of the population, because you have to have more people, right? You have to have more people to be able to stand here and fucking sell your goods too, right? And that's the thing, right? You literally cannot have fucking a fucking capitalistic economic system without the infinite growth of population. All right. And if you go, oh, they're trying to kill us all off with abortions and da. No. The abortions come from the fact that we let women vote and give them freedom. Women can't have freedom. All right. Legit. Women's freedom is directly linked to their reproduction. If they don't have complete and utter control over their reproduction, they're not free, because they require us to be able to provide for them while they're fucking pregnant. That's something that you don't want to talk about, apparently. I don't know why the fuck you call yourself Red Pill. You're the redpillreligion.com on your shit, but you don't want to be red pilled, apparently. Because, like, yo, if you don't have women having complete control and autonomy over their motherfucking vaginas and what comes in and goes out of them at any given point, they don't have freedom, because they require people to give them free shit and people to provide for them. So therefore, they're relying upon a man, and they can't work because of the fact that, you know, they have, what the fuck's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, they have they have to fucking lead to have a fucking baby. You know what I mean? The baby requires fucking constant attention until it's fucking 4 years old. It's that fucking simple. It has to have that. And then they have to pay for daycare. So again, freedom isn't possible. You know what I mean? And like, yo, so therefore women don't have children because they like having children. Women have children because it provides them the opportunity to have financial fucking security. That's the thing that maybe you're not understanding about your red pill knowledge yet. Maybe you're not willing to swallow that pill. And they're going to vote. And that's the thing. They're going to vote to have these things. It isn't the robber barons. All right? It's not. The UN's ran by feminists and communists and socialists, because it was formed in Europe. United States is one country and probably the only capitalist fucking nation in the world. That's it. We're the last bastion of freedom in this fucking planet. Everybody else is a theocracy or a social democracy or a fucking communist country when it comes down to it. And that's the fucking truth. So how about, you know what I'm saying, you swallow that red pill. Take it where it fucking belongs.
All of that is mainstream, by the way. I still haven't gone into any conspiracy shit yet. All of that is just stone on fact. We cannot continue to praise these people running this this economic system. The people who designed and run this economic system have been responsible for every crash since the Great Depression. Ben Bernanke admitted that they caused the Great Depression. They've caused every single crash we've had in my lifetime. They average one about every 10 years of my lifetime. And I'm pretty sure that's about their average since the Federal Reserve came in, run by these same wealthy oligarch families that these hypocrites will say gave us all that's good in the world. These hypocrites want us to abort our kids, have no kids, sterilize ourselves, and kill ourselves once we're no longer productive and useful. You call these our benefactors? Once again, I haven't even started in on a real conspiracy theory yet. This is all just fact. Yet I know people, not just Tom Pnoid. He's all right for a young punk who thinks he knows more than he does, know-it-all bitch. But
okay, let's drop the last bit of motherfucking knowledge on you. You know what I'm saying? Because like you know, it's fucking important. You know what I'm saying, that you understand what's going on. Okay. All right. So let's rock this out. This is the historical home ownership rate in the United States, 1890 to present. All right. Fucking. So here we go. This is, let's see here. This is 1898. Actually, this is 1890 right here. And this here is 2000 and motherfucking 10. Okay. See, it hit 70% here, right? See, back here was around like 46, 47%. All right. 48% maybe. Right. And it actually dipped down. You know what I mean? See, this is dip down. Where's this at? This is 1938. Right. It dipped down almost fucking like 43%. Right. But it got up here. See how high it got up here? You know what I'm saying? It has a whole lot of ups and downs. But it got up here and went down some after the crash. You know what I'm saying? But it's going back up. Now, the reason I bring up this chart and I bring up this graph, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's bring this up here too. You know what I'm saying? Because this is important as well. You know what I mean? Fucking this here is the amount of motherfucking individuals who were alive in 1890. That's 62 million human beings who motherfucking existed inside of the United States, right? In 1890. Our economic system, all right, was designed and built to do a few things. One is to allow us to have credit. All right. And credit's important because you have to have credit in order to expand the motherfucking money. You have to expand the money supply to be able to fucking stand here and have individuals do things like run businesses, have houses, you know what I'm saying? Have capital to be able to build things of this nature. And in having these things, you have to have this shit. So with that being said, that's why this system is set up the way it is. Okay? You have to have an expansion of the money supply and credit. And yes, we've had a crash probably about every 15, 20 years since 1972. It was 72, 86, 2000, 2008, and now 2019. All right? I can understand why you said every 10. I got you. Average it out probably is about 11, 10 years. But that's only over the past like 40. And the reason why that is the way it is, legit, is because of the fact that, well, we set this fucking shit up and we had massive amounts of growth in the 1950s and 60s when we were the only people building anything. We were the only people exporting goods to the rest of the world. And when we were that individual, we had growth of 30, 40, 50%. You know, fucking, we had ridiculous amounts of growth every year. It was fucking insane. We also had ridiculous growth in the fucking populations when the baby boomers were born. And we went from like fucking 70, 80 million people to like 150 million people very quickly. You know, I mean, 1990s, we got up to around 200 million, right? And fucking here we are today at 330 million people in the fucking side of the United States of America. And during the 1970s, you know what I'm saying? Fucking, we had built our fucking supply lines on petrochemicals and, you know what I mean, oil energy, and the oil crisis happened because the United States ran out of fucking oil. Basically ran out of good supplies of oil anyway, right? Fucking all those Pittsburgh wells went dry and a bunch of the wells down there in Texas went fucking dry because we pumped them all the fuck out. And OPEC decided, you know what I'm saying, since it was that moment, they took advantage of it, and we put in the petrodollar status in its fucking place. Now, these are all things, you know what I'm saying, that are nuances to this fucking conversation. But along these ways, in case you didn't notice with that fucking graph, you had increases in the fucking home ownership in our fucking country. You had people who were doing well and being successful. Today, there are more millionaires in the United States than there's ever been in the history of our country. People have a better standard of living than they've ever had in the history of the world. Legit. They're living longer. They're healthier. They have more stuff. They have more access to information than we've ever fucking had in the history of mankind. You have a fucking plastic box in your goddamn pocket that will allow you to stand here and look up any information that you will ever need to fucking know. The vast amount of the world's knowledge is on that plastic box at your fingertips. And most of us can access it for 1% of our fucking entire goddamn fucking paycheck. That's unfucking believable. And you're saying that they failed at doing what they were supposed to do. See, I don't think that's true in any way, shape, or form. I think we became the greatest country on the fucking planet with the ability to fucking smash anybody's head that we want to at any given moment. We've fucking created the greatest art, greatest fucking cultural monuments, fucking built cities, showed the rest of the world how to live. Motherfucking, we make all the medication for everybody. We invent the vast majority of fucking electronics and engineering parts. We're light years ahead of everybody else for every technology in the world. How did they fail? Well, man, once you figure that out, you let me fucking know. Because if you want to go, oh, because they're not stable, I'm going to tell you I don't care. Legit. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you I don't give a fuck. But in the meantime, man, yo, look. I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. Y'all know the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe for more content such as this. I put all the links in the motherfucking description for y'all. You know what I mean? In the meantime, yo, look. I'm going to go handle my business and do what I do best. I'll be around. Holla at your fucking boy. Peace be like one. Later.